Let's start with talking about the reality of opening your small gym, okay? Now, just to give you some context, the gym that you're in, this was originally called Jungle Brothers, and this was founded by myself, Paul, and Tiora, 3 guys. I'll tell you a little bit more about our story later in the presentation. Our first gym was not here. Our first gym was a kilometre down the road in Banks Meadow, and I'm going to tell the story of that gym. Since the creation of the Jungle Alliance, this gym has been renamed to Jungle Botany, and I'll make it clear later as well why that was important from a strategic point of view. So really the story we're talking about is how all of this came to be. First thing when we're talking about running your own gym is that small business is brutal, all right? If you run a small business, and I know that there's a few small business owners in here, you understand how difficult it is. Now, gyms are a particularly special breed when it comes to this, and it's because they're not in short supply, right? If you think about the kind of person that goes on to open a gym, and more than likely, most of you have already had a thought about going to open your own gym, you usually lead with passion rather than strategy, right? You like training, you like coaching, you want to help others. It makes sense to turn that into your business. If we compare that to other forms of business, it's quite unique in that way. Most people would get into some kind of business because it's an economic strategy. Whereas for us, it's more of a passion-led thing. So I just want to paint this picture because it's important we kind of understand it is a tough marketplace to be in. Here's the failure rate with new gyms going into the market. So this is a really staggering statistic. 81% of gyms will fail within their first year of business. If we have 10 gyms that open up, 12 months later, only 2 of them will be standing, right? Yeah, this is really staggering, and we could probably look at maybe statistics that are somewhat close to this for small business generally. But for gyms, I think it really paints that picture about how what can often start out as a passion project can really soon just become something that no longer exists. So here's the story of how you typically open your space. And this is how it went down for us. You decide that you want to get into the gym game. You usually have a friend or a couple of friends, and between you figure out, hey, this is a good idea. We're pretty good at this thing. Let's open a gym. Soon after, you sign a lease on a space. And before you know it, you have a gym. You also have money going out of your bank account every month for rent and other expenses. And really what you find is that before you've even had a chance to look at some of the important parts about setting up your business, you're already doing the fucking business, right? You're so busy trying to keep shit going, trying to show up, figure out the class schedule, make everyone happy, follow up with that member that came in today. You very rarely have the time to sit back and figure out, what systems do I need in my gym? Actually, what are the roles that I need to have within this business? Do I need help, right? So a lot of these things are happening while we're trying to make shit up on the fly. Now, here's the deal. It's a familiar story. I see a few nodding heads. I think you can identify with this. As we saw from the statistic earlier, it's a story that tends to end badly for most folks. On that, here's a short list of some essential items you're going to need if you want to set out to open your own gym. You're going to need all of your branding done, website, products and services. What the fuck am I selling? What does it look like? How much does it cost? You'll need programming for your classes and for your training, merchandise, equipment, fit out, your software, staff and owner roles, business plan, marketing plan. I don't need to read every part of it to you, but what you can take from this is that there's a whole lot of shit you need to have done before the doors open. Because I can guarantee you, and after this part, I'm going to tell you exactly how we fuck this up. You'll be in the trenches doing the thing, and all that stuff's kind of on your to-do list somewhere, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'll get to it, right? Even this one here, the DA, your development application. This is the license or the permission from your council to say that, yes, you can run this business. Most gyms operate without a DA, right? Try not to make eye contact with the gym owners in the room. There's a lot of shit going on, and this is really not the whole list. This is just top of my dome, sort of 5 minutes, get down what's there. I'm not trying to overwhelm you, but all I want to do is paint an accurate picture of what running a small gym is like and the reality of the thing. And it's important that if we're going into this, we want to know exactly what that looks like contextually. So there's a little bit to think about. Let me take you guys into the JB story, how we started the thing. That's me, that's T, that's Paul. So we were 3 guys from the film industry, 3 film dropouts. We wanted to reshape the fitness industry from the beginning. We We started this thing never with the idea that it would be anything but exceptional. We didn't know exactly what that looked like. We just knew that it would be so. We had all of the passion, but none of the business know-how. Like really fucking zero business know-how. We hated big gyms, fitness first, anytimes, visions, boot camps. They peddled dog shit training methods. They wore funny fucking clothes, polyester, dorky stuff that looked nothing like what, like why did it have to be this alien environment? Everyone wearing earphones, everyone staring at the mirror, not connecting with each other. We used those gyms. We worked in some of those gyms. I worked in Anytime, T worked in Fitness First for a period. But the idea that these were the places that led our industry seemed absurd to us. We hated having to drive across town to different venues to do the different kinds of training that we wanted to do. Jiu-jitsu over here, calisthenics here, CrossFit there, mobility there, right? We thought surely there can be a gym where you can do everything that you want to do. So we took the plunge. We took over a struggling CrossFit gym in South Sydney. The opportunity popped up. Someone said, hey man, this gym's going bust. We could buy it super cheap. Why don't we get in? Seemed like a great idea. The gym had 30 members. We did some calculations on a napkin. Fuck, that's like thousands of dollars in membership payments every week before we've even opened the doors. What could go wrong? We bought all of the equipment in the gym for 10 bucks. These guys were they'd already shut their doors. They'd fallen apart. 5 people that were running it, they fell out with each other. They shut the doors. They just wanted to offload the lease. Awesome deal, right? Some of that equipment still mostly here today, except for the CrossFitty stuff. So we brought our training methodology that we'd been building in parks around Sydney. Now, this training methodology was young, but the perspective was always the same. It was a combination of bodyweight strength, weightlifting, and combat. These were the 3 disciplines that we were interested in, the things that we thought were important for building strong, durable humans. And so this was the lens that we applied to all of our programming. I wasn't making people like wrestle and shit in the parks. It wasn't that kind of vibe, but it was more a perspective on how we would develop an individual and looking at those different skill sets and how they could translate to a group fitness class. We had no sign out the front of this gym. We barely had a website. And if you knew us back then, our logo seemed to change like every 5 weeks. We were super passionate about educating people. That we were 5 stars at. And the few members that we had, we gave them everything we could. But the problem was, no one was coming to the gym. They sold us 30 members. There was never 30 members. We'll talk more about that after. Here's the deal. It's 5:30 in the morning. You're driving from Randwick, where I was living, down to Botany to coach. It's the middle of winter, so it's dark. I was up late the night before, cleaning the toilets and mopping the floors at the gym because I closed up. I'm back there in the morning. Rhiannon, one of our first members, no longer here because she moved away. She was with us for such a long time. Rhi would be in class every day. Every fucking day she was there. She says to you, where is everyone? 5:30 in the morning, middle of winter, she's the only one that's in the class. A small piece of your soul disintegrates in that moment. She is everyone. It's a brutal reality. But we pushed on with the mission. We figured it was just a matter of time before we blew up. Surely it's just because people haven't heard about the cool shit that we're doing. Fight, lift, move, what could go wrong? It's the most epic training system to hit the market. They're coming. We continued to refine our training methodology. We gave everything to our work. The people that did show up to classes got the most A-class fucking training service you could imagine. We ran the greatest classes in the world. Our product and our passion was unrivaled. I still stand by that. The lingering question was, how long can we sustain this? Bank account hemorrhaging cash. You pay the rent this month. You get the rent now. Okay, I get it. No, I got it last time, right? Pulling it together however we could. Here's the rub. We bought a shit gym and we fucking sucked at business. We'd taken on some really shit business partners at this time. It was Paul T and myself, but there was another like 2 or 3 guys. One of them was like a friend of mine who found out about the gym and he's like, let me come in on it. Of course, man, you can have 10%. Yeah, he can have 10%. It was a total mess. We had no marketing. We had no sales system, no sales process. We didn't even have a follow-up. If you came and told me that was the best class ever, how do I join? I'd say, When you get home, jump on the website and sign up. See you tomorrow. Of course, fuck, you get home, you're probably not going to jump on the website. I didn't see you tomorrow, right? I thought this was your fault at the time. Coaches were freestyling it. We had inconsistencies in the programming. No system set up for taking payments. No one was getting paid. And the locals hated us. On that 30 member piece, not only did the gym not have 30 members, but it had injured like 25% of the people that had ever come to the gym over the course of the last decade. We got a database from them. That was the one thing that we got. And the database had like 1,000 contacts. So the three of us split the database up into three sections and just started making phone calls. I cannot tell you, I've never spoken to a cross-section of people who have told me about significant injuries more so than this cross-section. That fucking joint, I tore my bicep there 5 years ago, get fucked. That joint, my friend tore his meniscus, I'm never coming back. And I'm there, yeah, but we're different. We're not them, we're the new guys. They're like, yeah, whatever. Don't want to hear about it. Truth is, man, we should have gone bust multiple times. Hopefully we're past these days now, but there are no guarantees in small business. So here's the turning point. We decided to do something about it. We had glaring weaknesses, chinks in our armor that needed to be repaired. We got ourselves a business coach. Fortuitous. We spent tens of thousands of dollars on this guy. It was good. It was money we didn't have, but we were set onto a trajectory that would get us where we needed to be. This business coach was teaching us the equivalent of assisted push-ups and unweighted bodyweight squats of business, right? It was so rudimentary, such basic stuff. Like, let's talk about your process. Do you follow up with someone after they do their first class with you? No, we don't. You need to do that. Okay, got it, right? We took the notes. You guys can write that shit down if you want. We got good, right? We were really oblivious to this stuff at the start. But over time and with this community, we started to learn shit and we were becoming half-decent business operators. The other side of this business group that was awesome was that we were with other gym owners. There was something extremely reassuring about being able to hang out with people who are on the same path as us and facing the same issues. And I see some of the nodding heads with some of the stuff I'm talking about today. I know you guys are like, fuck yeah, I know that. Sing it, brother. That's the deal, right? When you're around people and they're like, man, I struggle with that too. And you're like, fuck, it wasn't only me, right? There's something very powerful in that. We became better at what we did. We started to create systems in the gym. We were marketing for new members. We were learning how to sell and we were watching our finances. We were great at coaching. I still stand by that. We had that thing down at the time. We had very strong views and everything that we did came from the heart, but we sucked at business. It felt good. It felt really good to be working on this stuff. And it's kind of like when a new person comes to you and they want help with their training or whatever, and you start telling them basic stuff and they're like, holy shit, man, this is so good. Like I feel so good after today's workout. That was us with the business stuff. So here's where our gym is today. This gym is at 170 plus members. It is the home of the Fight Lift Move training methodology. We've put it together since day one, and this, we believe, you won't find anywhere else on the market in the way that we do it. 40 plus classes per week covering a diverse range of training modalities. Weightlifting, hand balancing, jiu-jitsu, calisthenics, gymnastic strength training. We've got 10 savage coaches, mostly full-time, who are working in the space and building their own business within it. We've got a massage practitioner, we've got a Killer Kids program, we run epic workshops and social events, which we're known for, and we are the place to be for a lot of strength and movement kind of nomads passing through town. We're kind of an HQ of this scene. Most importantly, what this place is, it is a bastion of mental and physical health. It is a place where the members and the coaches love to come and work each day. It is an outlet for our expression and who we are. It is having a positive impact on our community. And most importantly, it's profitable. Many years ago, I would have felt guilty about talking about profit when talking about all of these other values. Because arguably, all of those things at the top are more important than money. But if you don't make money, the business ceases to exist. And then whatever impact you wanted to have, whatever dreams you had of helping people, are gone anyway. And then some fucking F-45 is looking after your people. And we all know about the lack of values in businesses like that. Not throwing shade, by the way. Different horses for different courses. But my point is, there needs to be a lifeline of financial resource, and that is running a profitable business. You got 3 typical pathways when you want to open a gym. The first is the franchise option. The second is the affiliation. And then the third is going it alone. Franchise option. It's safe. It's reliable as a small business can be. It's a turnkey solution. So what that means is, franchise gives you everything you need to run the business successfully. Think of all your favorite franchise eateries, McDonald's and whatnot. Super consistent, works great. Very little innovation on the part of the owner. In fact, it's restricted, right? So there's zero self-expression. It's also going to cost you a fuckload of money. Not necessarily a bad thing, but there is a large financial investment at the front end. My position on a franchise is that for someone who has passion, you are required to sell your soul in exchange for safety. I have a question. Who here purchased a coffee today from a franchise cafe? Gloria Jean, Starbucks, you didn't fuck with that? Who here purchased a coffee today? Right on. Nothing wrong with franchise cafes. If I'm in an airport overseas, I'm going to hit the Starbucks. However, what I would posit there as the reason why you didn't go to a franchise cafe is because you value pardon me? Local business. Exactly. It's not necessarily a conscious thing, but you appreciate what the person who runs that place is trying to do. Somewhere in your values that aligns. Fuck yeah, I love that guy, man. He always asks me what's going on. Sometimes he's a bit grouchy and tired, but there's a realness to that. Who here trains at a franchise gym? I train at a franchise gym when I'm not here. Who trains at one? Have you ever talked shit about it to your friends? That's a good one, isn't it? I talk shit about mine all the time. Second option you have is affiliation. Now in fitness, this is most typically seen with CrossFit. It's a great option. If the thing that they're slinging is for you, then it's pretty good. You get a brand name that you can leverage, right? Maybe you get some kind of little bit of, I don't know, a support document or something like that. Hey, here's a guidebook. But that's kind of it. You're pretty much out there on your own for the most part, right? It's up to you to go and make the connections that you need and whatnot with others in the industry. It is cheap, but I would also say it leaves very little room for your personal evolution. Using CrossFit as an example, and I am a big fan of CrossFit. My partner trains it. I have good friends that own CrossFit gyms, and I respect what it's done. But I've seen with a lot of gym owners that over time they start to maybe move away from the core values of CrossFit. And then they're in a kind of little crossroads because it's still a CrossFit gym. It's not really their thing anymore, but that's what the market wants when it shows up there. Third option is you do it by yourself. You rebuild the wheel from scratch. You come up with all your own shit, systems, branding, a lot of it. This is the most noble of all approaches, but it is also the most fraught with danger. Let's remember that stat, that 81% of gyms will fail within the first year of operation. Now that number would be biased towards the people who go it alone. The survival rate would be a lot higher for those that are franchising or in a franchise or affiliation model. So let's talk about the Jungle Alliance. We set out to create an entirely new alternative. I told you before that when we first started coaching people, we didn't have a gym. We were running classes on a Saturday at Sydney Park in Erskineville. Even back then, we spoke about how we would one day share what we do with other people. We didn't know what it would look like, if it would be a franchise thing or what. We just knew that it would happen. We wanted to create an option or an alternative for aspiring gym owners that would help them avoid making the same mistakes we did. It would put them in the best possible position for success. It would arm them with a world-class training method, the Fight, Lift, Move methodology. It would provide guidance so they wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel or feel isolated and alone in their journey. and it would provide systems so that their gym could operate like a real business from day one. And it would give support emotionally in the form of a community, like-minded humans who are sharing a journey together. This is when the Jungle Alliance was born. We take shit seriously, as you can see. The mission is to empower great coaches to build their own gym and have their greatest impact on humanity. To create an army of the realest, most enjoyable gyms around the globe. And to uphold a standard within the fitness industry and give people a better choice than what the mass market has to offer. And a pledge to constantly evolve and to continue leading the industry. These are the shared values of a Jungle Ally. Quality in everything we do. High standards of movement, high standards of coaching. Physical and mental health, diversity of training, constantly evolving as an individual and as a collective, self-expression, and a contribution towards something that's bigger than yourself. Those who share our values have a home within the Jungle Alliance. Let's talk now specifically about what you get as an ally. I mentioned that if you shared our values, you could be a part of this thing, right? So what would your gym actually look like? Your gym would have its own name under the Jungle Alliance banner. Jungle Ballina here, Jungle 5 Doc, Jungle Dublin, etc. It offers primarily group training. That is your bread and butter. But you can also sell premium small groups, workshops, personal training, whatever you want to do. The training is based around the fight, lift, move methodology, with 80% of your weekly schedule being made up of our core class programs. The other 20%, that's your unique layering on top. The stuff that you want to have that makes you you. That for us here is hand balancing, jiu-jitsu, even Thai boxing, Fight Factory, right? These are specialist programs that require specialist coaches. We're not going to tell you that you have to have those, right? But if there's the thing that you're good at, that you want to have there, that's important to you, there's room for that. You would hold mad social events regularly. The space would be open and inviting. The fit out is minimalist. No equipment that's not needed. Simple stuff, basic items that have stood the test of time and have been tested in battle. In short, we want to give you everything that we've ever built to run our gym, Jungle Botany. Now running Jungle Ballina, Jungle 5 Doc. This package will evolve over time. Our current work is on building out as much content as possible to help our allies. So think of this package that we're looking at as something that's constantly evolving and being added to. First, you get the systems for everything. We're talking sales systems, marketing, member retention, class schedule and programming, planning your social events. Everything we do in the gym, systemized, handed over to you. You get a community. You are connected with every other ally gym where information can flow freely. This is very intentional. If the collective can access information from one another, it allows the cream to rise to the top. This is where the constant evolution of the organization comes from. If one ally discovers an even more effective way to develop a handstand, they have the option to share it with everybody else. If someone over here is doing an amazing wrestling program and they want to share that for those who are interested in adding some combat, great, let's hear the information. But it also gives you a support network. People who are around the world in the trenches just like you that you can lean on when you need it. We give you the kick-ass fight, lift, move training method. This thing's been developed over 10 years. For most people here, I'm going to say half the people here I know are already training fight, lift, move, already have this background. Yet I can still not find a gym on the globe that can integrate these three very related facets of training into a cohesive manner. I stand by that. We give you our model for building strong, robust individuals of all shapes and sizes. Programming, 12 months of it to get you started. These are our three core classes: strength and movement, body weight, and lift. If you want more programming, we can do that too. But our idea is that we teach you the themes and how to program, and then you run with it. We're not looking for an army of gyms who are all doing exactly the same thing. If that's what we wanted to do, it would be a franchise night tonight. Like I said, if you have ideas around how to develop savage bodyweight strength. Run the experiment in your gym. Program your classes, right? Strength and movement, lift. If you find better ways to do things or somebody else does, this allows the evolution of the collective. And you get the support of the founders. Paul, myself, Tiora, our success is your success. It is not in our interest for any ally to not have a successful business. Our mentorship is whatever support we can provide you. There's limits to that at some point, less so at the moment because there's not a lot of ally gyms. Of course, time will go on, things will become more demanding, but we pledge to give you everything we can to make sure you have your greatest chance of success. And lastly, we give you a kick-ass piece of software to run your gym. It's called Canopy, and it was built by us. And that's how we know that it's going to be exactly what you need to run your space. Remember that massive checklist? We can probably take care of like 70% of that straight off the bat. We've been through all of this stuff. We can help you expedite it. Whatever's on that list that we don't necessarily have an answer for, we'll help you chip away at it. Our goal is to provide you the blueprint to build a world-class gym that people love coming to. Give you the level of support that you typically receive from a franchise without having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a part of the party. The ability for you to express yourself through your business and an epic community that will support you to your greatest potential. So what does it cost? Cool. Let's talk numbers. It's pretty straightforward on the cost front. There's two separate costs involved. The first is a $12,000 sign-on fee. $12K sign-on fee, once off, gets you your own website, your own branding package, coach's course, and our business prep courses. Get you up to scratch with how things work and how we do it. Gets you that guidance from us to work through that checklist and get your gym up and running. And it gets you access to our gym resources library. The systems and all that stuff, that's where that lives. The second cost is to use the software, Canopy. There's two fees involved, a monthly subscription of between $150 and $350. The subscription is tiered based on the size of your membership base. If you have 14 members, you actually don't pay anything for the subscription. If you have 15 to 50 members, you pay $150, and it goes up like that. And a commission on sales. So your sales that go through that system, we take a slice of $1 and 1%. That's the business model for us. That's how the Jungle Alliance works. You would pay that money to some other software company that doesn't know you or give a fuck about you anyway. So our big idea was, well, why don't you just pay us and we'll give you everything to run your gym in exchange. Those fees are competitive with every other piece of software on the market. They're not the cheapest, but they are competitive.
These commissions on sales, how does it work again? $1 per 1%?
Yeah, great question. When you process a payment, it happens automatically. You set up a direct debit for a member. Let's say you charge them $120 a fortnight. That payment goes through. The system automatically takes $1 and 1% of that $120. So the 1% would be $1.20. So it would be a total of $2.20. But you don't see any of that. What gets delivered into your bank account is the $117.80. Yeah, right? That's how it works. So the beauty is there, you don't have to shell anything out. It just happens automatically and you don't even notice it. The payment systems we use these days, Stripe, Square, this is how they work. So we're just making that our processor rather than theirs. We want you to build the gym of your dreams. We want you to have a business that is profitable as soon as it can be. We want you to be a part of a group of awesome humans, and we want you to have your greatest impact through your business so that you can love doing the thing. On behalf of Paul, T, and myself, I want to thank you guys for being here today. It's the first time I've presented on this. It truly is an honor to be able to share our story, but also our mission and our dream with you guys.